the minister comes to me, pulls me into the office. He said, rumor has it that you were scared to speak. You know you can't tell no black man he's scared. I was like, no, sir, I wasn't scared. I just wasn't feeling good. He said, well, how are you feeling today? Fine, sir. He said, well, good, you own in 5 minutes. I said, well, wait a minute. He said, no, you own in 5 minutes. And I went and I spoke, and everybody was standing, clapping. I really thought that they was just being supportive. But when I was up there on the rostrum, when I was speaking, I heard a loud voice in my mind, and it said, this is what you're born to do. When I got off the rostrum, though, I said, I ain't never going back up there, because I'm not sure if that was God or Gino talking. I don't know who that was in my head talking. And I said I wasn't going to go back. Wednesday came, I did a whole lecture, and I ended up becoming an assistant minister at 17 years of age in high school, and the minister allowed me to be the student minister in Indianapolis when I was just turning 21. And in 6 months, we tripled the ranks in 6 months of me being a student minister at a very young age. So it was that voice, and I did feel like that this is what I was born to do. And it's been my purpose.
How old are you?
I'm 50 years old now. Yes, sir. Yeah, 50.
No hair dye, no none of that.
Well, you know, there's a little sauce here and there. You know, a little touch up here and there. You got
man, I'm looking at that.
I ain't got to the point where I got to do the whole kit.
Yeah,
you know, I got to do the mustache here and there. But that's, you know, I've been striving to follow the How to Eat to Live program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the How to Think to Live program.
You said How to Eat to Live?
How to Eat to Live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has 2 books that he was given from Master Father Muhammad, teaching him, God showing him the diet that makes a God out of a man. And you know there's a diet for everything. Slaves have a diet. That's why we was fed pork, because they wanted us to have a food that gave us calories for energy that we could work. But inside of pig, there's microscopic maggots called trichina worms. Millions of them. I'm saying in a skittle, the size of a skittle piece of pork has over 100,000 worms in it. These worms eat your digestive fluid. They climb up your spine, mess with your vertebrae, get in your brain. They start eating brain cells, sound and mental power. The pig is made of a cat, rat, and a dog. It's mixed all together. That's why when you go to the baseball games and you go to get with the thing in the little bun, it's called a hot what? A hot dog. And then you want it to taste right, you get the red stuff and you put it on it. It's called ketchup. So it's cat, rat, and dog. Is what I'm trying to say. So they gave us that because they want us to be what? Physically have energy, but if it's sounding your mental power, you get dumber and dumber. So they trying to keep us. That was slave diet. Did you know that whenever you feed a stallion, you feed them different than when you feed a regular working horse? They're from the same kith and kin. The only thing that makes them different is the diet you feed them. Same with cockfighting, same with dogs. Even a bee. Do you know a queen bee was just a female bee, regular female bee in larva stage? They chose that this female bee is going to become the new queen. So the males start going out getting what's called royal jelly and feeding the larva royal jelly. Next thing you know, that queen bee grows 3 times the size of all the other bees, is much smarter than the other bees, stronger than the other bees, and lives longer than other bees, simply off of diet. So How to Eat to Live was a diet that God revealed to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that it's really an age reversal diet. It's a disease preventing diet. It's that life and life more bundling formula. So primarily we eat one meal a day. 1 meal a day, fast 3 days out of the month. Some of us eat 1 meal every other day. Some people eat 1 meal and fast 3 days. And then that's basically eating twice a week. That's how those long livers in the Bible that you read about live. When you look at, from Adam to Noah, the life expectancy of man on average was 912 years. At that time, they were eating 1 time, fasting 3 days, eating again, and they did not eat any meat. Every herb-bearing seed was considered to them as food. So they ate twice a week and made it almost to 1,000. After the Noah, here's the flood coming now. Animal products is being consumed. They eat meat. It goes from Noah to Jesus. It gets cut down to 317. And then, of course, now look at us, barely making it to 70, because we got Chick-fil-A and Taco Hell and McDevils and Honda Murder King and Long John Killers. We got all this foolishness.
So let me ask you this, because I was going to ask it while you was talking about prevention of or just
fasted for 21 days before.
No
nothing. Just drinking water and coffee for 21 days.
No milk in the coffee, just black.
Just cream and sugar. I did put some cream and sugar. I didn't have it where it was cream and sugar with a little coffee. It was coffee with a little cream and sugar. But the minister recommended to us just do 3-day fast. That's sufficient. Just do 3 days. And then if you want to do another one later on, do another 3. So in the nation, every month we do what's called a national fast, where everybody in the nation comes together the first weekend of every month. Our last meal is Thursday evening, and then our next meal is not till Sunday evening. And of course, accountability partners, teamwork, making the dream work. It makes it easier when you got people doing it with you. And by doing so, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that if you ate 1 meal a day and you did that little fast for them 3 days out of the month, that you would live to be about 140 years of age.
140.
And keep in mind this, there's some people right now called the Hunsas in the Himalayas. I learned about them on accident because of the in Our Savior Has Arrived, which is one of the books of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He mentioned some people among the Himalayas that was living way up in age and having children way up in age. So the Hunsa people, they barely eat anything. Some of them, they go on fast sometime for 60 days where they drinking just tea. But they don't eat no processed food, very, very little animal products at all. And they living and they producing, climbing mountains at 110, 111, 112, moving like regular people. They showed a video of one of them that was almost doing, he was like a gymnast. Strong, sane. So, the body, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this body was built to live and last for 1,000 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that is it realistic for athletes? I remember, was it Hakeem Olajuwon? Mm-hmm. And you see athletes like Kyrie Irving who are openly fasting.
Right.
And to say it doesn't impact performance, because it does. What would be some ramifications for training purposes for athletes?
Well, for Kyrie, it impacted him positive. He scored more points. And when I think the first year he announced Ramadan, that first game, he hit him for 41 while fasting.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. It's a discipline. It's to see whether or not you can tell your flesh that my mind and spirit is in control. I'll run this, or you gonna let flesh run you. So that's what it is. So if the devotion comes, there's a saying of Prophet Muhammad. He uses this language. He said, during Ramadan, the gates of hell are closed and heaven is open, and the devils are caged in or chained up, and angels are released. And this don't literally mean up in the sky you can see some big gates open, and in hell you see chains and devils. But it's saying that in Ramadan, Allah God, He's making doing good and being right easier, and making doing wrong and being wrong harder. So this is a season, if you want to break not just the low desire lust habit, but any other habit. So they've been able to function. Hakeem Olajuwon, he was able to function. Abdul Rauf, he used to do Ramadan. Craig Hodges used to do Ramadan. It's several. It's football players doing Ramadan, and linebackers. that were doing Ramadan last year. So it's feasible. You just have to, regulate your affairs and make sure you hydrate before and hydrate after. But
so a full fast for the nation is from what time to what time?
What we consider to be a fast, it has to be really no food at all for past 24 hours. That's considered 1 day of fasting if you get past that. 2 days is 48 hours, 72 hours. A lot of people call abstaining from certain things a fast for a certain amount of hours. So you have this new term out, intermittent fasting. That's what that is. You're just cutting out certain stuff for a certain amount of hours in a day and making your window of time to eat a certain time. But technically, our intermittent fasting is all the time. They have it. They popularize it now. They're advertising the OMAD diet. It's an acronym. 1 meal a day. OMAD. But we've been on that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us this since the 30s. 1 meal a day. So this has always been our system. So that's what we do.
I mean, there's obvious, intrigue of this particular way of life. Now, 1 meal a day don't mean pizza and certain things. Like, is there food enriched, or is there certain foods that you guys lean more in? Is the richness of, or?
A very good question, Buckham. See, you can't do real work on fake food. It's the bottom line. You cannot do real work on fake food. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to eat your meal, you should want that meal to be as healthy as possible so that it can provide you with the fuel you need to go into the next day and achieve the objectives that God has for you and that you have set out for yourself.
Like what?
So our primary diet, the recipe that Master Fard Muhammad gave, that is the small navy bean and various different vegetables in it. Very inexpensive to make, but the bean soup, in and of itself, is a sufficient amount of meal for you. So that's one of our staples. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad recommended that you drink a pure glass of milk, pure milk. Now they don't sell it like that. You have to get raw milk, and then you have to take the raw milk and you have to boil it, then chill it, and then drink it. That'll be considered a pure glass of milk. And then you have some that eat chicken, some that eat lamb, some that eat fish, some that eat beef, and that's your food. And we cook rice, but we cook it different. We cook some of the starch off of it. We brown it first in raw form, put it in a skillet, a little oil, brown it, then add water to it. It cooks some of the starch off the rice. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't really like us eating rice and How to Eat to Live. He said this: if you must eat rice, then do it like this.
But what would be the carbs that you would intake?
Whole wheat bread. See, if we was eating real whole wheat bread, not this dwarfed wheat that's on the scene right now, real whole wheat bread would be your best option.
So something that is fulfilling.
Yeah, it's fulfilling and it is healthy. So it's giving you the adequate raw material physically that you need to build your cells, to replenish your body, and to have the energy you need to move forward. I've trained for several marathons and ran marathons on 1 meal a day.
What?
1 meal a day. And my partner, he wasn't in the nation, and he always, every time we ran together. If I was a little tired, he'd be like, "I'm tired to tell you. You gotta get a smoothie or something, man. Get you some oatmeal." And I'm like, "No, sir." Every time he was running tired, "Yeah, it's that breakfast on you, boy, ain't it?" And as time went on, we ended up strengthening each other. And he ended up, we were out one day, but we were running a 21-mile run. And because we always was in this righteous competition with each other,
what religion was he?
He was a Christian.
Okay.
So he's saying, eat like this, do like this. And I'm saying, brother, this is the best way. So if I was fatigued, he would beat me up. And if he was, I would mess with him. We on a 21-mile run, Brother Cam. We get to the 17-mile marker. And I'm hurting. I'm hurting bad. But I look over at him and his back is straight. His stride is good. He got such a good pace. I said if he can do it, so can I. But really what I said, I'm not going to let no cognac nipping, black and mild smoking, cheeseburger eating Negro. He's not getting ready to beat me. If he can do it, I'm going to keep running. We got to the end of the run, and we both fell out in the grass. We was laying in the grass, and he leaned over, and you won't believe what he had the audacity to say to me. He said, brother, I got to tell you something. I was hurting real bad at that 17-mile mark. But I looked over at you and your back was straight and your stride was good. You had such a good pace. I said, if he can do it, so can I. With no food. No food. But what the point was is that we borrow strength from one another. That's what brotherhood does. That's what having an accountability partner does. That's what unity does. It allows you to borrow strength from one another to help both of you all propel beyond what you could have done on your own. So, you know, that, and I'm pleased to say that he did come in the nation. He joined the nation. His wife joined the nation, and his son is in the nation.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, have you ever been to Mecca?
I have not been there yet. God willing, we'll go one day. Right now, the minister has advised us not to really do any international traveling right now with the climate of the world. You know, unfortunately, America is Satan's headquarters. And the number one thing that it exports is sin, wickedness, and wrongdoing all over the planet. So you're seeing now where around the world, people going to Cancun, going to the DR, going on vacation, but because they're from America, they're being kidnapped, some being hurt, some being killed, held for ransom, etc. So because of the climate that America has produced for people that come from America, they don't know that hey, hold on a minute. We not from there. We from the nation of Islam. We don't. So we, for safety reasons, right now I haven't gone yet.
I always hear the strong pride of especially the nation of black, your brother. Do you have any white friends?
I have a few associates, and we have white Muslims that are studying the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that are considered our brothers and our sisters.
But it's okay. So that is studying Muslim, but the nation of Islam.
No, they study the nation. They study the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
Yeah, they study the teachings. They have their own study groups, their own meetings. They come to all of our national conventions, and they're doing good work. They're doing good work.
Are they in America?
In America. And around the other parts too, but they're in America. A nice amount of them. And it has been like that. Even in the 70s, there were white people, Caucasians, studying the teachings and that were considered Muslims. There's someone that wrote a book called The Message to the White Man. And it is a Caucasian that is taking the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and breaking it down into a way that would be, more digestible to his people, he thought. So, yeah, the truth is truth. So we teach the truth to all. We need to know that where black came from and what black is. Because black's not a color. It's the essence from which all color comes from. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Even if you took a paint set and mixed them all together, all the colors, it'll turn black. Because it's the essence. Blood comes from. Black is original. So Bible says from one blood came all living beings. From one blood. Well, what blood could produce all? In the Mendelian law, he said this. He said you can get recessive from dominant, but you cannot get dominant from recessive. Look at what he said was dominant. He said brown skin, brown eyes is dominant. White skin, blue eyes, recessive. Black skin, brown eyes, dominant. So if you can get recessive from dominant, but not dominant from recessive, you can get white and all the other colors if black was first. But if white was first, you never would have the rest of these colors. So we are the original people on the planet, and we've been subliminally programmed to hate everything black. Do you know in the dictionary right now, there's 120 definitions for black, and almost all of them are negative. And there's 134 definitions for white, and almost all of them are positive. Think about it. Stock market crash, it was called Black Monday. Somebody framed somebody, you blackmailed them, right? Whenever you tell a small lie, it's a little white lie, but a big lie is a black lie. You having bad luck, you're behind the 8 ball. What color is it? It's black. And what on the pool table, the white ball puts all the other balls into place. And if you play a game where you put money into it, the cue ball will come back, but none of the other balls will come back if you scratch. Why? Because the white ball is bigger than all the other balls on the table. The green felt is a symbol of the planet. And these are all the different nationalities. Subliminal programming that we put everybody in their place. We run everything. And you lose the game if you don't make that black ball go in last. That's last. Programming. Cake with white icing, but devil food cake. Chocolate cake with chocolate icing. So these are subtle, subliminal program us to think negative about our own black self. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was teaching us and the minister, he has to lift us back up by feeding us not black hyperbole, but black facts to lift us. And there's a teacher that is considered one of the fathers of Western education. His name is Robert Collier. When education was going public, listen to what he said. He said that, remember, education is only 1/4 information. The other 3/4 is encouraging. And nothing encourages a child like teaching them about someone that looked like them that accomplished great feats in the past. So we've been through school. Black and white children start school the same way. They hold on to their mother's leg, get peeled off, have to cry, real timid, head down, moving slow. But notice that as both of them matriculate through 12 years of the public school system, I said it right, they going through, but look at what they're learning about. Black and white child are birth learning about white greatness. They learn about George Washington, a white man, Thomas Jefferson, a white man, Einstein, a white man, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Thales, Hypothetical, all these are white men. So that white child is learning about people that look like them that accomplished great feats in the past. So after 12 years, he walks out of school with his back straight, chest out, head held high, ready to conquer the world. But the little brother didn't learn about nobody that looked like him that accomplished great feats in the past. So when he walks out, he started with his head down. Now he leaves 12 years later with his head and his pants down, because he never learned about people that look like him. So knowledge of self, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said is essential to learn. And knowledge of self produces love for self. And when you love yourself, you start doing for yourself. And if I know myself and I love myself and I'm doing for myself, and you, my brother, my other self, then I'm going to treat my other self the same way. Guess what happens? All crime, all violence, all mistreatment, envy, jealousy, all the stuff that's plaguing our community, it disappears from knowledge of self and love of self.
What's your thoughts about Black History Month?
Well, it's a pretty little cheap pacifier that they stuck in our mouth.
You agree with it or disagree with it?
I disagree with it in the sense of this. Here we are, the people with the longest history of anybody on the planet. Yeah, when we get the shortest month of the year. Think about that for a second. And notice that Black History Month in the educational system is never before slavery. It's always from the plantation to the present or the cotton field to the current. You never learned about Imhotep or Mansa Musa or the Nile Valley civilization or Timbuktu or the lost city of Atlantis. We don't learn anything about what we were before we were kidnapped and brought to America and westernized and Caucasianized. We don't learn about what we used to be before we were brought here. We learn about the accomplishments of a slave under the slave master, or about a freedom fighter or a revolutionary who either was killed or their movement was broke. So guess what happens to the mind if all we know about is plantation to the present? What happens is, if we look back and we see us as slaves living in mud huts, working from can't see morning, can't see night for free, dressed in burlap. Then we start getting a little apartment, you know, $10 an hour, couple jackets, and think we didn't really came somewhere. Next thing you know, we start talking about we started from the bottom, now we're here. But if we could really learn about ourselves, we would say we started from the top, and now we're way down here. So in that sense, Black history is a scam that has been offered to give us a pacifier. A pacifier, it looks like a nipple, might even feel like a nipple in the baby's mouth. Put in the mouth just to put somebody to sleep. And unfortunately, this Black history, the way it's been taught, has put us to sleep. McDonald's said, celebrating Black History 365. We shouldn't have needed McDonald's to say that. We should have said it ourselves. There's no other nation of people that have 1 month to talk about themselves. Every day is about themselves. So we shouldn't allow them to limit us to a 1 month, shortest month of the year, to learn about self. Every day should be Black History Month.
I said this before, but I draw a fence to who's the messenger of Black history. My children, they go to a pretty good school.
Yes, sir.
I take education extremely serious, especially the early development of education, as well as furthering their education as well. But I witnessed something that I said to myself, it's like, are they the trueness of that? Because at one particular point in time, when you do some soul searching and you start saying yourself and you start asking those questions, you're like, hold on, where do we come from? Hey, we living in Georgia, a slavery state.
That's right.
So if that person who's teaching you about something look like them,
come on.
And that's not to create divide. That's not to create, a bad guy, good guy. I just draw a fence sometimes when Black history is being taught by a person that is not Black.
Let me say look at how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put it. He said, any man that will not treat you right will never teach you right. They're not going, if there's an African proverb that says that if the lion hunter is the one that tells the story will always favor the hunter. So even when we learn this Black history, the reason that you offended is because Black history, for the main courses of Martin Luther King Jr., you get you a side dish of Rosa Parks, maybe 3 tablespoons of Frederick Douglass, and maybe a shot glass of some Malcolm X. But you don't get any real history of us before we were in America made slaves. That's the impediment. So we have to start giving our children real homework. Do you know when you graduate from a college, whatever college that we graduate from, we call it our alma mater. Alma mater is German for other mother. So educational institutions are the other mother. So if the educational institution is the other mother, who's the primary teacher? It's the real mother. It's the real father. So we have an assignment to not rely on the school system or any place we deposit our children in to be their primary educator. No, we have to teach our own children. Frederick Douglass said this, that any child that only learns at school is an uneducated child. We have to teach our children ourselves. So give them homework, Brother Cam, and just incentivize them. Offer them some money. And you'll watch how serious they get. I'm telling you, I almost went broke. My daughter almost got me. She's wrestling with some issues. So I had some books I wanted her to study to help her get it in the summertime. I told her, for every book you read, I'm going to quiz you on it, which means I had to read it too. And it's $100 per book. 3 weeks in, she had knocked down 4 books. I said, oh my God, summer vacation is 3 months. I think she did 14 books. And I'm talking about, took notes on all of them, and I quizzed her, and she learned it. So I came to her. I said, well, my word is bond. I got to give you the money I promised you. And when I was going to give her the money, Brother Cam, look what she said. She said, that's okay, Daddy. What I got from the books is way more valuable than the money. I still gave her some money, but my point is that we have to give our children real homework. And it shouldn't be the regurgitation of stuff that was sent home from school. It should be the stuff that we're putting in our babies' mind that they can take to school with them to have the right mindset to conquer the environment that we deposit them.
How many children do you have?
Three children.
I'm gonna take that because transparently speaking, I've always been the parent that's the school's job to teach my children, right? Ignorantly enough, and I use my own truth sometimes to educate and empower. To not say that this is the right way, it's just to say that I'm flawed and to understand that I'm a work in progress. But when I hear you talk, one of those things that I think about is because by the time I get home, I want to be dead. By the time I get home, you know, I've provided all my life. I provided all day and was a servant to so many people. Being labeled the boss, that means you're just the biggest servant. And by the time I see my children, I don't got time, but I need to start making time.
Well, this is so, you know, we have a saying, men sharpen men like steel sharpen steel. So the minister said this. Now, to me, the Honorable Minister was far kind of wise. Listen what he said. He said, I've never met another human being that was not my superior in some way. That means that everybody can teach everybody something. So I'm learning from you. There's things that you can tell me that I never seen it like that. And I can take it as a jewel or nugget to renegotiate my contract with my life. There might be some things I'm saying that you can help. You can take to use do the same thing for. But you had it right though, Brother Cam. It always has broke my heart to drive past a raggedy public school killing field and see parents pulling up in $100,000 vehicles, picking their children up from a raggedy miseducation institution. The number one investment of a real parent should not be their IRA, the 401k, stocks, bonds, real estate. The number one investment of a real parent should be in their children. So if there's anything that's going to be determined for distribution of resources, it'll be better.
Hey, Bino, we got to force the education on the community, man.
Teaching the children properly than to keep pulling up in these $100,000 automobiles, watching our children have a needle stuck in their brain and their spirit killed, their aspirations assassinated, and their dreams snatched. So now you have it. You can use them as reinforcement, but you become the primary